Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 81 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine today. This came with part 1 of 2 of the Lord on Juggernaut, so we can start off the 9th and final Combat Patrol from this magazine, the World Eaters. But in today's game, the Astra Militarum will be making their full campaign debut against the Chaos Space Marines. First up, we have the build guide for the Lord on Juggernaut. This kit does also actually make a unique character called Lord Invocatus, so there will be some extra parts, but this is the build guide for a generic Lord on Juggernaut. So you start with his torso and right leg and his arms. You get a choice of which chain blade to use, a sword or an axe. And then putting the rest of his body together, and it suggests keeping his left leg separately, so you can paint the two parts of his body and the Juggernaut separately. And then there are parts for the Juggernaut, which goes together fairly easily. But again, there might be some different parts for Lord Invocatus's Juggernaut. And there's the finishing part, but again, keep them separately to make them easy to paint. There's a background on the Sabbath World's Crusade, the setting for some of the Gaunt Ghost novels, a crusade to reclaim several hundred human-inhabited worlds. And it goes over some of the regiments involved and some of the Space Marine chapters involved as well. Also shows the Gaunt Ghosts miniatures and tells you a little bit of their backstory and the names of them all. Then backstory on the World Eaters, a legion of Chaos Space Marines devoted to Khorne, completely dedicated to bloodshed and violence, and are basically just frothing, maddened berserkers who seek only to spill blood and claim skulls for their Dark Lord. And while they were still a loyal legion, they were treated as shock troops by the Emperor, and the sheer fear of having the World Eaters arrive in your system was enough to force systems into compliance. But once the Horus Heresy started, they fell in with Horus and betrayed the Emperor. And there you can see Angron, their Primarch, and their original armour during the Horus Heresy. And they aren't particularly subtle at all. They despise trickery and subterfuge. They only charge headlong into battle, trying to face the toughest foes as possible to get the most glory. Then background on the Arcs of Omen, the story arc occurring at the end of the 41st millennium, where a number of Chaos fleets united to retrieve these strange space hulks called the Arcs of Omen all over the galaxy, getting into combat with various races, including the Tau Empire and the Leagues of Votan. And it goes over their various other conflicts with the Imperium, the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the Sisters of Battle, and so forth. And then we have name generators for the World Eaters characters. Well, we've got one character and the Maul Fiend. So you've got one for the Lord on Juggernaut, where you can give him a name and a backstory. And then there's a name generator for the Mauler Fiend, which is a demon that has been bound into a machine. And there's also a tally where you can keep track of how many skulls your Lord on Juggernaut has taken and see how much favour he'll earn with Khorne and what title he can reach. And then the collection article for the Lord on Juggernaut himself. So many who devote themselves to Khorne seek glory and renown in melee combat. Most of them will die very quickly, but the few that survive generally become more powerful, and particularly powerful lords will be awarded a Juggernaut, a mixture of demon and machine, to ride into battle. So you can expand his background and record when you've built, painted and played with him. And then there's his data sheet. We'll be going over that in the next issue. I'll hand you over to Will now, and he'll take us into today's game.
So we've got the Lord on Juggernaut's data sheet, but we won't have a look at that right now. We'll save that until the next issue when he'll first appear in a game. Instead, the game's content for this issue is the first 3 campaign matchups for the World Eaters. First will be against the Space Marines on Sweeping Raid, and the usual campaign outcomes for that. Then Tyranids versus World Eaters on Display of Might, and again the outcomes. And then World Eaters versus Eldari on Clash of Patrols, and the outcomes for that. So I'm sure we'll see some of those matchups coming up once we've got the World Eaters Combat Patrol. But for this video, we'll be going back to issue 74 for our first full Combat Patrol game with the Astra Militarum Patrol, which is now complete. This will be against the Chaos Space Marines on Clash of Patrols. So in the narrative here, the Chaos Space Marines have stormed into a system, but the brave Astra Militarum defenders will not give any ground in defence of the Imperium. And of course the narrative outcomes for this game. So you can of course have a look at those and decide which side you want to root for, but we'll get the game set up and get straight into it. So here is our battlefield for Clash of Patrols. You can see the 4 objectives in the central diamond pattern, 1 towards the top, 2 and 3 out to the sides, and 4 towards the bottom. We've got a big piece of live sight blocking terrain in the centre, and a couple to the sides, and then some craters and barricades. The Astra Militarum are deployed at the bottom of your picture, and the Chaos Space Marines at the top. So here we have the Astra Militarum deployment. I'll be playing them today. The majority of the units are on screen. We've got the Armoured Sentinel on the left, the Field Ordnance Battery in the middle, and then the Command Squad attached to the Shock Troops unit with the Plasma Gun. And then out on the far right flank is the other unit of Shock Troops. And I'll be picking the optional secondary objective and enhancements for this game, because we haven't seen them yet. The optional secondary objective is methodical destruction, so at the start of the battle round I select an enemy unit, and if it's destroyed by the end of the battle round, I gain 4 victory points. And the optional enhancement is gunnery officer, so while an artillery unit is within 6 inches of the officer's unit, I can reroll the number of shots it has with its variable shot weapons, and the models in the unit have the lone operative ability if they haven't made any attacks yet in the battle. So basically, if I go second, they can't be shot from more than 12 inches away. And on the other side we have the Chaos Space Marines.
So on my left flank I've got the Apostle with 5 of the Legionaries. It's the usual melee unit with the melter gun. I've got the other 5 Legionaries with the Heavy Bolter and the Hellbrute. Hope you're all obscure from the artillery. And then I've got the Havocs, because it's been a while since we've seen them, and they're behind the other bit of terrain, ready to either take on the Sentinel or the artillery, hopefully. The Apostle with the Infernal Blessing enhancement for a 5-up Feel No Pain, and my secondary will be the default one, which is Champion of the Dark Gods, where at the end of each phase I get 3 VP if my Dark Apostle model destroys a model that phase.
And rolling off to see who gets the first turn. Astra Militarum have rolled a 1, Chaos Marines have rolled a 6. So it will be Chaos Space Marines turn 1. At the start of the battle round I'll pick the Havocs to be my unit to be destroyed for my secondary objective.
So I'm going to be a bit cagey in my movement phase. The Hellbrute advanced, and I even used my command point to re-roll it, and I re-rolled a 2 into 1, so it's not going very far. Unit of Legionary just moving across to take objective 1, while the other unit is taking cover behind that barricade. And the Havocs are just going to stay where they are for now, because I could move them out to shoot the Sentinel or the Guardsman, but they'll probably just get bombarded by artillery in the open, so... no shooting or charging, so on to the Astra Militarum turn.
So I did of course gain 2 command points because of the enhancement. The officer issued move to his own unit, and then everybody's moved out. The officer's unit being able to control both objectives 2 and 4. The armored sentinel moving up to support them. The artillery shuffled a little bit just to get a little bit further away from a potential charge from a Hellbrute, or at least being able to tie them up. And the other unit of shock troops advanced and came towards the centre of the board near everybody else. In the shooting phase, the Armoured Sentinel can just about see the Legionaries on Objective 1, and it might as well supercharge because it will obviously get the extra damage. There'll be D3 plus 1 shots because of Blast. 3, hitting on 4s, just 1. Might actually reroll that with a command point because I've got so many. So rerolling one of those at hits, still missed. Wounds on a 2 because it's strength 8. That's a wound at -3.
And I'll have cover from that angle, so it'll be a 5-up armour save. Nope.
And a hazardous test. Saved. The field ordnance battery won't shoot because it'll maintain its lone operative that way, and I'd only be shooting with indirect fire with the field gun, so it probably wouldn't do much damage anyway. And finally, the officer's unit had 3 las guns that could see the Havocs where they all missed. But that brings us to the end of my turn. And we'll be into Chaos Space Marines turn 2. My destruction target will once again be the Havocs, because that's probably the most likely unit I'll be able to concentrate fire on. And the Chaos Space Marines gain 5 victory points for holding Objective 1.
And I'll also gather intelligence on Objective 1 to get an extra command point. In my movement phase, the squad of Legionaries with bolters have moved so they can see the Guardsman near Objective 2. Hopefully they're staying out of line of sight of the artillery. The other unit has moved to hold Objective 3. The Hellbrute's just gone directly down the middle, and it's just about within 12 of one of the artillery pieces, so it can shoot at it with its plasma cannon. While the Havocs have rearranged themselves just to get the missile launcher, the chain cannon and the heavy bolter to shoot at those Guardsmen in the Objective 2 as well. Las cannon and the champion are staying out of line of sight for now. I'll start shooting with the Havocs, so the heavy bolter, the chain cannon and a frag missile are going to go into the squad of Guardsmen. And I'll spend a CP for malicious volley so they can re-roll hit rolls of 1.
And I'll spend a CP for go to ground so they get cover.
So the frag missiles, D6 plus 3 shots. I'll actually re-roll that. 6 shots on 3s, re-rolling 1s. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. 4 wounds with no AP.
So 4+ saves with the cover from the stratagem. Made 1, Feel No Pain from the medic. Made 1, so 2 dead so far.
The heavy bolter on 3, 6 is a sustained. That's only 1 hit. Wounds on a 3, it does at -1.
5+ save, no, and then a 2 damage, Feel No Pain. 3 dead.
And the chain cannon is 8 shots on 3s re-rolling 1s. That's a lot of 2s. 4 hits, wounding on 3s. That's only 2 wounds at no AP.
4s, save both.
Do the Legionaries next. 2 bolters and the heavy bolter into that squad of Guardsmen, while the other bolter can't see them anymore, so it'll shoot the other squad of Guardsmen. Do a dark pack for sustained hits, because might as well. Heavy bolter on 4s, 2 hits and a sustained, so that's 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, 2 wounds at -1.
5s, fail both, so double Feel No Pain on 6s. 1 fails, yep, 2 dead.
4 bolter shots on 3s, 3 hits with no sustained. Wounded on 3s, 2 wounds with no AP.
4s, failed 1, feeling a pain, no, so 3 dead from the commander's squad.
And 2 bolt gun shots from the other squad, gets 2 hits and 2 wounds, no AP.
5+ save for them, 2 dead.
In a leadership test for Dark Pacts, they succeed with a 7. I'll do the Hellbrute. It's just in range of the artillery, so it will shoot at them, and it will do a Dark Pact for sustained hits. D3 shots, 2. On 3s, 1 hit. So wins on a 3. It does at -3.
So they don't get a save, so one of the guns is down to 3 wounds.
Hazardous is fine. Dark Pact is fine. The Hellbrute will try and charge. It will charge those guardsmen out in the open, the squad with 8 men in it. You need a semi-decent roll. A 9, I reckon that will be enough. The Hellbrute will make its charge and it will tank shock when it does, and because we're using the original version of tank shock, it uses its melee weapon, which is strength 14. So we've got 14 dice looking for 5s. That's 5.
So 5 just squished. So there's only 3 dudes left and it hasn't even attacked normally yet.
Then it has 5 attacks with its hammer. We won't do a Dark Pact. We hit 3 times. Wounding on 2s. We wound 3 times, and that's -3, d6 plus 1 damage.
So they're all dead. That's some very dead Cadian shock troops as we head into Astra Militarum turn 2. So I gain 10 victory points because I do hold 2 objectives, both of which will be secured because they have a battle line unit on them. I'm also going to gather intelligence from objective 4. I don't get an extra command point from it because you can only ever gain 1 command point extra on top of your base one per turn. But if I do this, it denies the Chaos Marines getting it. And the special mission rule where you can gather intelligence only works if your warlord's alive anyway. So if the Cadian commander died, I don't get any of my enhancement, but I also wouldn't be able to do it from gathering intelligence. And he'll issue take aim to the field ordnance battery. And then the armoured sentinel will move slightly so it can see the legionaries better and be a bit more out of line of sight of the havocs. The commander's squad will just move back slightly. The artillery will stay stationary, and in the reinforcement step I spent a command point for sending the next wave to bring back that unit of shock troops. They can come in anywhere wholly within 9 of my board edge that's not within engagement range of an enemy unit, so this is a perfectly reasonable place to put them, and it obviously forms a nice roadblock for the Hellbrute. And then we'll start shooting at the Hellbrute with that squad. The melter gun and the flamer and the sergeant's las pistol will have to go into it. I'm actually going to put the las guns that can see into the Dark Apostles squad over by objective 3 because there's not very much point shooting the Hellbrute with them. But I will spend a command point for bringing it down on the Hellbrute so I can reroll hit rolls. So the melter gun. Missed. With a reroll. Hit. Wounds on a 4, toughness 9. That's a wound at -4.
So 6 up, save. Nope.
It's in melter range, so d6 plus 2 damage. 7.
So it's down to 1.
Flamer and the las pistol didn't do any damage, so then we've just got 7 las gun shots at the Dark Apostles legionary squad. 2 hits wounding on 5s, no. Commander squad will shoot everything at the Hellbrute because they can't actually see anything else. I won't supercharge the plasma guns, and we'll do a crack grenade. 3 plasma gun shots on 4s re-rolling, but they will hit anyway. Wounding on 5s, 1 at -2 because it's not supercharged.
4 up, saved.
Crack grenade, missed, still missed with a re-roll. 2 wounds from small arms with no AP.
2 up saves. I'm going to re-roll that 1 into a 6, so it's saved.
I'll do the Sentinel into it. I won't supercharge the plasma cannon, and I will shoot the Hunter-Killer missile. So that hits on a 4 with a reroll. It hits. It wounds on a 3 because it's strength 14. That does. It's -3.
5 up. Failed. Does it explode? Nope.
I will open fire with the artillery this turn. We're going to fire at the Havocs. The Malleus rocket launcher can just about see them, and the field gun will have to indirect fire, but I think it'll have to indirect fire at anything because it can't see. Start with the bombast field gun, d6 plus 1 shots at a unit of 5, but I can re-roll this thanks to the commander's enhancement if I need to. 4 I'll take, so that's 5 shots. Hitting on 4s because they have take aim and heavy, but -1 to hit from indirect fire. 6s are sustained hits 1 because they have an order issue to them. So it'll be 4 hits wounding on 3s. 3 wounds at -1, but they've got cover.
So 3 up saves. Failed 2.
2 damage each. And the Malleus rocket battery, d6 plus 7. I'll re-roll that with the commander's enhancement into a 6, so that'll be 13 shots. And this will be hitting on 3s because of heavy and the order, and it can actually see them. 8 hits wounding on 3s. 5.
5 wounds, 3 up saves again. Failed another 2, so we'll lose the chain cannon.
And that'll be the end of my turn. I didn't destroy the Havocs, so no points for the secondary. We'll be on to Chaos Space Marines turn 3.
So the Havocs have to make a battle shock test, which they pass.
And then it's 10 victory points and 2 command points because you can gather intelligence.
These legionaries are going to move out.
But when they do that, the field ordnance battery will fire Overwatch at them. D6 shots with a field gun, 2, but I can re-roll that into 4. Hitting on 6s, but sustain hits 1. No. And the rocket battery, Reroll that into a 5, so that will be 11 shots. 6s, just 1, so 2 hits. 3s to wound, just 1.
There's a guy in cover, and he's fine. But the other unit of legionaries is going to move up normally, try a long charge, I suppose, into those guardsmen. While the Havocs have moved out so that they can see the artillery. So the Havocs are going to shoot a crack missile and a las cannon at the artillery battery, and I'll do a Dark Pact for sustained hits.
But I'll do a CP for go to ground, because they're an infantry unit, so they can do it.
So las cannon on a 3, so it hits. Strength 12, so I guess that's a 2. It wounds at -3.
So we get a 6 to save with cover. No.
D6 plus 1 damage. 7.
So it destroys the rocket battery.
And the crack missile hits. Wounds on a 3. It does at -2.
So 5. No.
D6 damage. 1. I will re-roll that because I think it's more important to try and kill it. 3. Leadership test for the Havocs for Dark Pacts. They're fine. And the legionaries are going to go. More Dark Pact for sustained hits again. 3 legionaries into the guardsmen. Heavy bolter into the artillery. So heavy bolter on 4s. 2 hits with 2 sustains. So 4 hits, wounding on 4s. 2 wounds at -1.
4s to save with cover. Oh, it made both.
Bolters get 5 hits. Wounding on 3s on the shock troops. Only 2 wounds, but no AP.
5s. Failed both. Medic. Made 1, so 1 dies.
Dark Pacts, they're fine. Then the other squad will shoot at the other squad of shock troops. We'll Dark Pact for sustained hits, and we won't supercharge the plasma. Dark Apostle, missed. Plasma, hits. Wounds on 2, it does.
That's just 1 dead.
3 more bolt pistols, 3 hits and a sustained. 3s to wound, 2 wounds at no AP.
5s, fail both.
Melter gun, hits, kills another one. Then a leadership test for Dark Pacts, they're fine. And then this squad is going to charge the Cadians over here. Not with a 2. The other squad is going to charge the other unit of shock troops. 4 isn't going to be enough there either.
And so that's the state of the board at the end of Chaos turn 3. On to Astra Militarum turn 3. So again, 10 victory points, and once again, gathering intelligence, but doesn't give me an extra one. Commander issued take aim to his own squad, and they've moved up towards the legionaries on objective 1. The Sentinels moved towards the Havocs. The other shock troops unit moving up to block the Dark Apostles unit, and the artillery piece obviously will stay stationary. I'll start shooting with the commander's unit. All of the shots that are in range will go into the Havocs, the pistols into the legionaries in front of them. I will supercharge all the plasma, and I'll do a crack grenade. And I'll use Bring It Down on the Havocs as well, because I want to get rid of them for the victory points.
I will spend a CP for Imperial Rights to give them a 4-up invulnerable save for this phase.
So 2 shots with the supercharged plasma gun. Can re-roll. 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. So these are, well, they should be on the invulnerable.
Up for both.
So they're just dead. Commander's plasma into the legionaries. Missed. And just a bolt pistol into them as well, which also missed. And then 2 hazardous tests. Oh, there's a 1, so the plasma gunner will blow himself up. That leaves the Sentinel to shoot those legionaries with a supercharged plasma cannon. 1 shot, which missed, and it's not hazardous. These shock troops will shoot the Dark Apostles unit. 11 las guns and las pistol on 4s. 7 hits wounding on 5s. All 3 wounds.
Now we use the little friends. 4-up involved. Oh, they're both gone.
And the melter gun missed. And finally, I'll shoot the bombast field gun at the Dark Apostles unit as well. D6 plus 1 shots, 5, hitting on 4s, because there's not any of the orders on it. So 3 hits, wounding on 3s. Just 1.
Got Marines in cover, so 3-up. Saved.
And I'll declare a charge on those legionaries with the Sentinel. Gets a 4, so that won't be enough. Yeah, so I'll declare a charge with the commander's squad as well. There, they make their charge like that. 3 attacks from the Power Fist Man on 4s, 2 hits, 3s to wound, 2 wounds at -2.
5s, save both.
Ooh. Power Sword, 1 hit, which does wound.
5 again, take a wound.
And 3 wounds from regular guys on no AP.
3s, bear 1, so lose a Marine. 9 attacks back from legionaries on 3s. 4 hits, wounding on 3s, 4 wounds at no AP.
5s, saved 1. 3 feel no pains. Oh, saved 2, so 1 died. So that's it for Astra Militarum turn 3, and I do get 4 victory points because I did destroy the Havocs, finally. On to Chaos Space Marines turn 4. So I'll pick that legionary unit to be my unit to be destroyed, and at the start of the Chaos Command phase I'm also going to spend 2 CP for artillery strike, so they have halved movement, halved advanced rolls, -1 to hit with shooting and can't charge, and Chaos gains 10 points for holding objectives.
My only movement is going to be the Dark Apostle squad. It's going to move so they'll hold the outline of sight from the artillery, or at least try to. Those 3 legionaries will stay in combat. They do get to shoot with their pistols, so we've got 3 shots on 4s. Well, they all hit. Wounded on 3s, 2 wounds, no AP.
5s, no. Medic, killed 1.
The other Marine squad will shoot at the other unit of Cadians, and they will Dark Pact for sustained hits. Dark Apostle on a 4. Oh, he gets 2 hits with sustained. Wounds on 3s, 2 wounds with no AP.
5s, no. He kills 2, so he will get some points.
3 bolt pistols, 3 hits. Only 1 wound though.
Saved.
Non-supercharged plasma hits, doesn't wound. Melter doesn't hit.
But that is 3 victory points because the Dark Apostle killed a model.
Dark Pact's leadership test for the Apostles unit is fine with an 11.
That just brings us to the combat phase, where the Cadian Command Squad gets to go first.
And I'll spend a CP for Imperial Rights to give them a 4 up invulnerable.
So we'll just do the Power Fists on 4s. 1 hit. 3 to wound. No. Might actually command point that though, I think. Wound.
4 up. Saved.
Power Sword. Hits twice. Doesn't wound. And 2 wounds from normal guys.
3s. Fail 1, take a wound. And the 3 legionaries get to hit back. We will Dark Pacts for sustained hits. 9 attacks on 3s. 8 hits. Wounding on 3s. 4 wounds.
5s. Oh, 666. Medic. 1 dies.
And Dark Pact's leadership test, they're fine.
So there are not that many Cadians left on the field as we head into Astra Militarum turn 4. So I gain another 10 victory points. The Command Squad don't have to take a Battle Shock test because they're down to just the Command Squad unit now and they're still at 4 or 5 models. And the Commander issued move to his own unit because they're not going to stay in melee, so the extra movement will be useful. So with that order, the Command Squad has enough movement to move such that the officer gets back within 6 inches of the artillery piece, and the Sentinel's going to move around behind those legionaries, the artillery piece obviously staying stationary. And over here, the 5-man shock troop squad advance, getting all of them onto objective 3, while I spend as command point in the reinforcement step to send in the next wave and bring in another unit of shock troops within 9 of my board edge. And I might as well start shooting with them, obviously all the Dark Apostle squad with supercharged plasma and do a crack grenade.
Only a CP for Imperial Rights again, give them a 4 up invulnerable save.
So supercharged plasma, 1 hit, which wounds.
4 up.
Crack grenade, hit, and wounded, -2.
Nope.
D3 damage, 2. And then 16 lasgun shots. 8 hits winning on 5s, 1.
Saved.
Hazardous for the plasma gun. Oh, he dies again. Then we'll just have the field gun and the Sentinel shooting at that legionary squad. I'll spend my command point for bring it down on them. Field gun, D6 shots. 5 on 4s re-rolling. 4 hits. 3s to wound. Oh, just the 1.
4 up. Failed. Everyone dies.
And the Sentinel, D3 shots. Just 1. Which can re-roll a hit. Still missed. I did intend to supercharge that, so hazardous test. No. Finally, the Sentinel will charge these 2 legionaries. I can't take the objective off them, but it will tie them up. It's in. Might as well get itself on the objective, though, anyway. And then it has 2 attacks on 4s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Is it strength 6? No, it does not.
Hitbacks from the Marines. No Dark Pact this time. 3 hits. So 6s. No.
That brings us, though, to the end of Astra Militarum turn 4. Did not destroy my target unit. So we'll go on to Chaos Space Marines turn 5.
Battle Shock tests for the 2 Marines fighting the Sentinel. Well, they fail. So I'll spend a CP to Insane Bravery those Marines, so I will get some victory points.
Yeah, because otherwise the Sentinel would take it away from them. And I'll pick them as my target for this battle round once again. And the Chaos Space Marines only gain 5 victory points this turn because I took objective 3 from them.
The 2 legionaries fighting the Sentinel will fall back. The other 4 will stay where they are. Will Dark Pact in the shooting phase for sustained hits, and they'll shoot at the squad of 9 shock troops. Bolt pistol from the Apostle hits. Wound on 3, it does. No AP.
5. Oh, kills 1, so that'll be 3 points.
Non-supercharged plasma, missed. 2 more bolt pistols, get 1 hit. And no wounds. Dark Pact leadership test, they're fine. Then the legionaries will charge this unit of guardsmen.
1's on objective 3.
In with a 10. Hopefully if they kill that unit, the Apostle will be able to pile into the other unit and tie it up. or Dark Pact for sustained hits, and I'll do the Apostle first. He's got 5 attacks on 2s. Gets 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. 1 wound, -1.
6 to save. Oh, it didn't save, so at least he got his points. But hopefully the rest of his squad can do better.
4 attacks with the Power Axe. That miss. And chain swords. 2 sustained. 7 hits, wounding on 2s. 6 wounds at -1.
There are 4 left in the squad, and I made 3 6s, so there's 1 left. So there's 1 Cadian left who will be the one next to the Apostle so that he can't pile into the other shock troops unit. Well, he didn't do anything in return, but with that we'll be on to Astra Militarum turn 5. So I'll be scoring at the end of this turn, so I will have won because I'm going to get 10 points at least, which will take me up to 44. It should take aim to the artillery piece because it was in range in the command phase, and the 1 Cadian fighting the Dark Apostle will fall back to make sure that the Dark Apostle can't get points for killing him, and then everything's just moving so I can see that legionary squad who are my target, see if I get points for them. So we'll shoot at them starting with the Armoured Sentinel, and I'll use CP for bring it down on them.
They'll do Imperial rights.
D3 shots. 2 shots on 4s re-rolling. 2 hits. 2s. 2 wounds at -3.
4 ups. Go both.
Oh, there you go. And we can end the game there because I get my 4 points for that. There's no point doing any shooting at the Dark Apostle squad because it won't change the outcome. And that will be an Astra Militarum victory. And we'll recap it for you now. So that was a full combat patrol game as part of our look at issue 81 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine. How did you think that went?
Well, it was pretty close actually until the end. I think basically the turn where both my legionary squad failed their charges was probably the turning point.
Yeah, if you'd been able to charge, I mean, I wouldn't have cared all that much if I'd lost the 5-man Cadian squad, obviously, but actually they had a decent chance of taking out the command squad and stopping any more orders.
Well, it's more about the positioning as well.
Yeah, that 5-man unit running onto your objective cost you 5 points.
The Havocs had killed the artillery, I think that was a turning point as well. Potentially things like if the Hellbrute had survived as well, could have fired its plasma cannon at the artillery and then stomped about in your deployment zone.
Yeah, the melter gun hit doing a ton of damage was lucky. I obviously had a lot more guns to shoot at it, and the Hunter Killer missile did wound, so hopefully it would have still gone down, but I guess it would have meant fewer guns going elsewhere. For the Astra Militarum's part, I think they did pretty well, actually. It's funny, I didn't have high hopes for this combat patrol because the units are individually not very impressive, but the sheer amount of buffs you can give them, all the re-rolling and +1 to hit and so on, does add up.
Well, the stratagems are all extremely useful, whereas I think compared to, say, the Orcs, I think the Orcs have some of the weakest stratagems, but I guess you need it to make up for your relatively weak units.
Yeah, I mean, the artillery barrage is once again extremely powerful to stop you charging outright with your Dark Apostles unit while it still was at full strength. Bring it down is really good, and getting free shock troops unit back is really good. But also the getting so many command points in the first place. Because you have so many command points, you can always pretty much guarantee, as long as you're careful with them, you're always going to have that one to bring a squad back, or using it on bring it down, or being able to go to ground, or the Sentinel, of course, has smoke screen, so you can use that as well for -1 to hit. When you have individually weak units, anything that improves their effectiveness is good, and stratagems are a big part of that, so the extra command points are really...
Well, and I think the generic commands really aren't that useful for the Guardsmen. You've got go to ground, I guess. You can use smoke on the Sentinel, but most things in Combat Patrol aren't powerful enough to really threaten it. But there probably aren't enough of them for you to never have 2 CP available for artillery.
Yeah. And although I still do think the other enhancement is better, the one that gives you the order on your entire army, even without that you can see what it did. But actually I did get a fair bit of use out of the re-rolling of the artillery's number of shots without having to spend a command point.
I would say the lone operative is the much better part of that.
Yeah, and that if you're facing something like the Havocs, which will be shooting at them as soon as it gets the chance, having that option is really good. And in this game where there just wasn't much point shooting the one gun indirectly at anything in my first turn, it actually made more sense to just reposition them slightly and to keep them hidden. And one of the nice things about Combat Patrol is you do get to choose your enhancement after you see your opponent you're facing as well. You don't pick it with your army, as it were. So you can actually choose that one if you know you're going to be fighting something where you don't want them being shot straight away. Direct the fire against the Sentinel instead, which is much more resilient. And it was nice to see actually the full patrol, technically for the second time, but I guess the first time in a full Combat Patrol mission where there's a bit more cover on the board, unlike the previous game. There are definitely some useful elements that are a bit less flashy than some of the other things, like the banner giving everything +1 OC. That can just make the unit better at controlling an objective, which we haven't really had cause to see yet until we've got a game like this. So we'll have to see more of that going forward.
I suppose also it does mean for our campaign that Chaos were on 2 victories, so they are back down to 0, so they aren't potentially stealing it, because we don't want to end the campaign just yet, but it was a little while since we've seen them.
Yes, obviously we'll have to decide what to do if nobody wins the campaign. By nobody getting the streak of 3 victories, probably the one with the highest overall victories.
Well, it's Warhammer 40,000, so the plot never progresses. So.
No, that's true. There is only war, after all. And then of course we started the World Eaters, the final combat patrol with the Juggernaut Lord. We'll see him in action in the next video, obviously, once he's finished. So not really much more to say about him until then. But if you did enjoy the video, then do feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Leave any comments down below. If you play with the Astra Militarum, let us know your thoughts on them, particularly because I guess on paper they might not look as one of the strongest, but if you manage to learn how to play them well, it'd be interesting to know if you've had success with them. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.